What's going on, world? How you doing? This is Antonio Edwards. Today I'm coming at you with another special video just for you. Alright, so today we have a special topic that I want to talk about that you definitely need to write some notes or hone into. This is how you're going to take it to a different level if you're starting out, or just if you're in the flipping real estate investing business in general, flipping properties. You need to know your end buyer's cost of money. All right. Now you don't need to know this to flip properties, but if you want to become more experienced and also make your spreads a little bigger, knowing your end buyer's cost of money is critical. And this is something that I definitely recommend you need to know. All right. So knowing your end buyer's cost of money. This is why you need to know your end buyer's cost of money. Everybody's money is different. Okay, everybody's cost of money is different, and you definitely got to keep that in mind when you're flipping properties. All right. Another thing, your end buyer's money could be cheaper or even more expensive than the next buyer. And if you don't know that, it's like you sometimes you might wonder, like, why did he or she give me a way lower offer than this person? But if you don't know their cost of money, or if you're not even aware that they have money that costs them something, you'll think they're lowballing you, but in reality, they're probably not lowballing. All right, it can make or break the difference in your spread, which is crazy. I mean, you can make a deal that's $10,000, or if you know your end buyer's cost of money, you can flip to a certain buyer that you end up making $18,000. That's an $8,000 difference in your spread, which is big. All right, so this is a note, guys. You don't have to use your own money to be considered a cash buyer. When people say that they pay cash for properties, that doesn't mean they're using their own cash. In fact, most investors don't even use their own money anyway. Even if they have a boatload of cash in their bank account, they're probably using it for other investment vehicles, or just as far as real estate. A lot of people don't use their own money. I don't use my own money when it comes to real estate investment. So that because somebody, consider themselves as a cash buyer doesn't mean they're using their own cash. They just have cash in their arsenal to use using OPM, other people's money. All right, it's three types of ideal cash buyers that you really need to know about. Three ideal cash buyers, all right? So you got buyer using his or her own cash. That's buyer number one. Buyer number two, this is a buyer using private money. All right. Now, most of your buyers will probably be buyer number two, or we're going to talk about buyer number three. So buyer number two or buyer number three will ideally be most. So you have buyer using his own cash. You do have fine buyers that have his or her own cash that they use actually. You have buyer using private money, and this is money you find via anyone with capital to lend looking for a decent ROI. It could be it could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your grandmother, it could be your next door neighbor. It could be somebody that you work with, or if you're working 9 to 5, or it could be somebody at church. It could be somebody that you go to the gym with, or at the gym. I don't know. Anybody that has money sitting collecting dust in a bank account can be a private lender. All right, and these are people that's really not savvy in lending business. So you make them become the private lender by educating them and letting them know that, hey, their money is safe in this type of investment vehicle as far as real estate. All right, so you typically create your own terms with these people, and because these lenders are not usually investors, again, you have to educate them. So you have your buyer using private money. They're getting money from private lenders, or they're creating private lenders and building capital, okay? All right, so you got buyer number three. This is buyer using hard money. Okay, anybody can get hard money. If you've never done one deal in your life, you can get hard money, all right? It's based off the deal, all right? This money you find typically via another investor who's willing to lend solely based off the deal. Just like I said, these lenders lay down their own terms. And typically, these are already savvy people, investors that are already in the game, okay? And you must buy by their own terms, although this kind of money is easy to find for an investor. This is the easiest money to find if you have negative $50 in your bank account. You can still find this money on a deal if you wanted to rehab or even hold properties. It's hard money for holding properties as well. All right. All right, so you got buyer using his own cash. You have your ideal buyer that's used private money, or you have your ideal buyer using hard money. You need to know this when regarding your buyers on in your buyers Rolodex. Okay, you need to know they're going to be pretty ideally. Normally, they're going to be one of these three, all right? And you need to know this. This is my favorite buyer here, the one that's using his own cash, because they can pay a little more for a property than somebody opposed to using hard money. Or somebody using private money can pay a little more for somebody who's using hard money. But we're going to go into more depth in that in a minute, okay? So knowing your end buyer's cost of money gives you knowledge of who to flip your houses to on a per deal basis, all right? Sell to the buyers with the cheapest money, all right? And you need to know that. You need to know, okay, if I have 123 Main Street under contract, who can I flip it to? I can flip it to Bob the buyer, because his cost of money is cheaper than Bob Susan the buyer, you know, okay? All right, so this will increase your spread per deal, all right? It's simple as that. It increase your spread per deal. All right, and also, you know when or when not to use the 65 to 70% formula. All right, and as you know, the market is picking up, all right? Still in the down market, but it's picking up. And in great areas, in bread and butter great areas, this 65 to 70% formula is really, a lot of buyers are not using this formula in great areas. Put it that way, okay? So you need, you have to know when or when not to use that 65 to 70% formula. And it all depends on what buyer you're dealing with, okay? All right, let's say you have your 3 ideal cash buyers, okay? You got your 3 ideal cash buyers. Just you have the buyer that has his own money. We have the one he has his private money lined up, and you have your hard money guy, okay, or your hard money buyer. All right, so cash buyer number 1, he uses his or her own cash. The cost of money is nothing, all right? His cost of money costs him nothing because he's using his own cash, of course, all right? You got buyer number 2. All right, buyer number 2 uses private money, but just say his cost of money costs him 12% APR, all right, annual percentage rate, all right? You got cash buyer number 3, which is getting hard money to buy houses, all right? His cost of money, just say, costs 5 points and 15% APR. All right? So every buyer above is looking for $30K net on a deal. And you need to know this. How much are you looking to make on a deal? What areas are you in? But most importantly, how much does your money cost you? Are you using your own money? Are you using hard money? Or are you using private money? How much does that money cost you? And if they ask you why, you need to know. So you need to know that helps you out with figuring out your numbers when you bring them a deal. If they want a net 30K profit, it's hard to break down your numbers to bring them a deal if you don't know how much their money is costing them. Okay? So they want a net $30,000 profit, all 3 of these buyers. Okay? But yet, everybody's money is different from buyer 1 to buyer 3. Keep that in mind. All right? So you have a property under contract for $40,000. The repairs of that property is $40,000. And just say the contractor gave you a $40,000 estimate and there's a 30-day project, all right? So the ARV is $160,000, okay? So you have a property in the contract for $40,000. You have a repair estimate of $40,000. The ARV is $160,000. So that's actually, in actuality, that's a good deal. This is a really good deal. The numbers work pretty much for any buyer, but depending on, to make you a little savvier, of this, by knowing that your end buyer's cost of money and who to flip this deal to, this can depend on how much you make on your deal or not, okay? So the average DOM, or the days on the market, is 30 days, all right? The end buyer potential in and out time frame is 90 days. So he's going from the time he buys it, from the time he or she gets out, sell it, get their paycheck on their end, it's 90 days, all right? So currently is $80,000 equity, or 50% LTV ratio. Contract price plus repairs divided by ARV, okay? So as you can see, this is a good deal. But someone who doesn't know their end buyer's cost of money can easily flip it to a buyer easily flip it to a buyer and lower their spread by not knowing their cost of money. So if you know your end buyer's cost of money, you can easily widen your spread and increase your bank account with your profits on your end. Okay. You need to know your buyer's MAO, their maximum allowable offer. All right. Now you need to write this down. This is a note. You don't want to leave extra money on the table, which is your side of the spread. Okay. Again, this is money in your pocket by not knowing your end buyer's cost of money. It's very important to know your end buyer's cost of money. All right. So, buyer number one. All right. He uses his or her own cash and looking for a $30,000 net profit. All right. The ARV again is $160,000 less commissions, closing costs. That's 11% of not the purchase price, but actually 11% of the ARV. All right, so just say the ARV is basically the purchase price. All right, at the time of the retail buy. So 11% of 160,000, $17,600. Less repairs is $40,000, and less potential profit is $30,000. So if knowing his cost of money is zero, and he or she wants to make a $30,000 net profit on their end, that buyer's MAO, or maximum allowable offer to you, is around $72,400. All right. Buyer number two uses private money at 12% annual interest and looking for a $30,000 net profit. Now all these buyers are looking for a $30,000 net profit. All right. And again, ARV is $160,000, which is again potentially what the retail buyer will be buying the property at on the purchase price side of their end. Okay. Less commissions and closing costs, 11% of the purchase price of the retail buyer or the ARV, $17,600. Less repairs, $40,000, and less potential net profit. Again, this buyer number two wants to make all of them want to make $30,000, but cost of money for that buyer is 12% APR. Okay, so just given the time frame that they're in and out in 90 days, that cost of money is going to cost them $4,800. Okay. All right, so their maximum allowable offer is $67,600. It's less than buyer number one because buyer number one doesn't have to pay for their cost of money because they're using their own cash. All right, buyer number three. He uses hard money at 5 points and 15% annual interest and looking for a $30K net profit, just like buyer number two and buyer number one. ARV is $160,000. Okay, less commissions and closing costs. Which is 11% of the ARV, not purchase price, and ARV, which is $17,600. Less repairs, $40,000. Less potential net profit, which is $30,000. All right. So his cost of money at 5 points and 15% interest, and a lot of buyers do use hard money. All right. So keep that in mind. All right. So you need to figure this out. Cost of money at 5 points and 15% interest is $14,000, given that they're in and out time frame is 90 days. So it's costing them an extra $14,000 to borrow that money to get this deal done for them to make a $30,000 net profit. All right, for buyer number three. All right, so this buyer's MAO, or maximum allowable offer to you, they need to be around $58,400. They might give or take, maybe he might do $59,000, or they might be at $58,400 because they really want to net exactly $30,000. All right, so they need to be approximately around $58,400. All right, for buyer number three. So buyer's number one MAO, using his or her own cash, is $72,400. Buyer's number two MAO is $67,600, and buyer's number three MAO is $58,400. Just by knowing your ideal cash buyers, guys, this is a difference in your spread here. All right. So your potential profit at $40,000 contract price, buyers number one MAO $72,400, and you got $40,000 on the contract. This would be a good deal, great deal for you as a wholesaler and flipping properties. You can make potentially $32,400 your profit net if you knew that he used his or her own money and you knew that they wanted to net $30,000. They wanted to net. They're happy at $30,000 net. Okay. Buyer number two, they're happy at walking away with $30,000 as well, but his offer is a little lower, $67,600, because it cost them 12%, opposed to this buyer's number one cost him zero because using his or her own money. So at $40,000 with your contract, now you're walking away a little less than this. If you didn't know that, if you didn't know your buyers cost the money, you walk away with $27,600 on your profit, which is still good. But if you know a little more about your buyer, and if you're a little bit more savvy, you can walk away with a little bit more profit every per deal. Okay. Now buyers number three made $58,400. That's a big difference from 58 to 72 for, okay? All right, so you got your contract price at 40,000 in the example that we gave earlier. And now your potential profit, he give you just say, hey, you took that 58,400 and you didn't know your buyer's cost of money. You're gonna walk away with 18,400 for your net profit when you could have walked away with extra $14,000 at 32,400 if you knew your buyers cost of money. All right, so as you can see, these are big jumps, guys. Your profit can go from 32.4 to 18.4 by not knowing your buyer's cost of money, or just flipping to a random buyer that you know that pays cash. They're probably just borrowing money from a hard money at 15, just standard 15%, 5 points, opposed to you just ask the extra question. Are you using your own money, hard money, private money? Okay, if you're using hard money, how much your hard money costs? How much your private money costs? Okay, if you're using your own money, so that lets you know that their cost of money costs them zero. All right, so now which cash buyer will you flip that profit to? All right, so that's a no-brainer. Of course, buyer number one, that buyer's cost of money to him or her cost them nothing, which he or she can pay more for a property. So no, this is what you need to write down right here. Most buyers do not use their own money to invest. Okay, so buyer number one, a lot of people don't fit in the buyer number one category, even though they have a whole bunch of money. There's a lot of people out here with a lot of money, but they just go by the OPM rule. All right, other people's money, and they use other people's money. I use other people's money. Okay, so what's next if that buyer number one is out of the equation? So just say we just have buyer number two and buyer number three as your buyers, okay? You would just flip to the next buyer who was borrowing cheaper money to buy properties. It's that simple, guys. Just flip to just flip your houses to the buyers that have the cheapest money in general. All right. Buyer number two in our example will be the next candidate to flip to. Or I'm just going to give you a little twist. Sometimes you might find a lot of times you'll find contractors are investors as well. They're doing the actual work in the properties themselves, which makes the actual their actual repair costs cheaper. So just back to the example, the repairs were $40,000 an example. If you flip to a contractor, it might be $25,000. All right, and he might be using his own money. So then I will readjust my numbers, and maybe my profit went from 32,400 to maybe 38,400 because he's borrowing a little higher because he has his own money, plus he's going in and doing the work himself, which makes the repairs a lot cheaper. All right, so you want to keep that in mind as well, okay? So buyer's Mayo is 67,600 in this example. So you'll go buyer number two in this example if buyer number one was not in the category. All right. So your potential profit would be 27,600 profit in your pocket net from the previous example that we went over earlier. So here's the moral, guys. Know your buyer's numbers. All right. Build relationships with them and don't leave extra money on the table. That's part of your spread of the deal. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? So, all right, guys, if you like what you just seen, go to firstdealeasy.com. Again, go to firstdealeasy.com. I have a system made for you where I show you strategically way more in depth how to flip properties the easy way, make your spreads a little bigger without you using any of your money or credit. Credit is irrelevant, in using your own money to come to the table to invest in properties and flip properties is irrelevant in this market, guys. You can make a killing doing this, and I just want to add, this topic today of knowing your buyer's cost of money. All right, so let me give you one tip. Let me give you the drink of the day. All right, I recommend this drink. All right, so the drink of the day. This is called Brain Tonic. It's no caffeine. All right, it's organic and it's all natural. All right, this helps you focus, and it's like a boost for the brain. All right, it's called Brain Tonic. Go to braintonic.com if you can see that. That's braintonic.com, guys. I drink 2 of these a day, along with my I drank a shitload of water, all right? But I drink 2 of these a day to add to the water I drink, and I feel fantastic.